If you're watching this video, please give it a like, subscribe to Instant Revenge, and share in the comments where you're hearing this story from. I'd love to know how far it's traveled. That morning, I woke up determined to tidy the house before the summer heat made everything feel heavier. Armed with a cloth and cleaner, I stood by the kitchen window, ready to scrub away the grime. Then my phone buzzed. It was Sarah, an old friend I hadn't seen in years, passing through town for the day. She wanted to meet for lunch. Her voice brought back memories of our childhood chasing fireflies, whispering secrets late into the night. How could I say no? But the house was a mess, and I couldn't leave it like that. Then I thought of Lily, a young woman from the neighborhood who was saving for college. She was reliable and eager for work, so I called her. She agreed immediately, grateful for the opportunity. I left her clear instructions: dust the study, clean the upstairs hallway, and be cautious around my husband David's antique bookshelf, where dust always settled. I handed her a spare key, told her to lock up when done, and headed to meet Sarah at a cozy cafe. Over lunch, Sarah shared stories of her life in the city, her kids, her career, while I talked about David's work as a columnist and my quiet days at home. We laughed, reminiscing about old adventures. Then my phone rang. It was Lily. I expected her to say she'd finished, but her voice was a shaky whisper, heavy with fear. "Mrs. Laura, is anyone else in the house?" My stomach dropped. "No, Lily," I said, trying to stay calm. "I'm out, and David's at the office until late." Why silence? Then her voice cracked. "There's a woman upstairs. I saw her in the hallway, wearing a long grey dress. Her hair was wild, like she'd been hiding. She walked into the guest room and vanished." My heart raced, hands trembling. Was someone in our house? It was old, with creaky floors and locked doors, but secure. I told Sarah I had an emergency, apologized, and called Lily back. "Get out now, Lily. Lock the door and wait outside." "I'm coming." I dialed the police, my voice shaking as I explained a possible intruder. Driving home, I tried Lily again, but she didn't answer. Each unanswered ring tightened the knot in my chest, my mind racing with worst-case scenarios. When I arrived, a police car was parked outside. Lily sat on the porch, pale and trembling. I hugged her, asking if she was okay. She nodded, too shaken to speak. Two officers, a stern older man and a younger woman, emerged from the house. They'd searched every room, closet, and corner. No one was there. No signs of a break-in, no footprints, no scratches on the locks. Relief washed over me, but unease lingered. Lily whispered, "I swear I saw her, Mrs. Laura. She didn't look human, like a shadow." I comforted her, but doubt crept in. Our house, over 80 years old, had belonged to David's family. Its stone walls and dark corners always felt like they held secrets. A woman, I couldn't fathom it. David arrived home, surprised to see the police. I explained what happened, expecting concern, but he just chuckled softly. "Lily, old houses like this play tricks. You probably saw a curtain moving or a reflection." His tone was almost dismissive. Lily looked down, silent. I studied David's calm expression, a flicker of doubt stirring. Lily wasn't one to imagine things. She was practical, honest. I apologized to the officers, paid Lily, and told her to rest. She left, still shaken, and I promised to call if I needed her again. Months later, I retired. No more early commutes or endless deadlines. The house became my world, but with the quiet came sleepless nights. I'd lie awake, the clocks ticking, filling the silence. Then I noticed strange noises from the attic, faint thumps, like something dropping, or soft footsteps pacing. At first, I blamed the wind or the house settling. But the sounds grew clearer, a chair scraping, pages turning. Over breakfast, I told David, trying to sound casual. I've been hearing noises in the attic. It's not just the wind, someone's up there. He barely looked up from his paper. Mice, Laura, old houses are full of them. I'll set traps tomorrow. True to his word, he bought heavy metal traps and placed them by the attic stairs. The noises stopped. No more footsteps, no rustling pages. I convinced myself he was right, mice. But then odd things kept happening. One evening, I bought a jar of my favorite olives from the market. David hated them, always complaining about their smell. I stored them in the fridge for a weekend treat. The next morning, half the jar was gone, the lid loosely screwed on. David, did you eat my olives? I asked. He glanced up, puzzled. Tried some last night. They weren't bad. I froze. David despised olives. Days later, the entire jar vanished, no trace in the trash. I didn't ask again, but unease grew like a cold weight in my chest. One weekend, David and I visited friends out of town, leaving early and returning late. Exhausted, I went to the upstairs bathroom to wash up. The floor was wet, water pooling under my feet. Fresh droplets clung to the shower walls as if someone had just used it. My heart pounded. We'd been gone all day. I called David, the bathroom soaked, like someone showered. He shrugged. Probably a leak from the old pipes. I'll call a plumber. But he never did, and the floor stayed dry after that. I checked the pipes and vents, nothing. His explanations felt hollow. And the strange incidents, olives, water, noises began to connect in my mind. I decided to clean David's study, a cluttered room of old books and papers he cherished. Sorting through his desk, I knocked over a stack of notes, and a hidden drawer in the desk popped open. Inside was a worn leather journal, its pages filled with elegant, unfamiliar handwriting, a woman's. It held story outlines, character sketches, and haunting fragments about a woman trapped in a forgotten town, waiting for a life that never came. The plots mirrored David's best-selling novels. My throat tightened. David typed everything: notes, drafts, even grocery lists. He loathed handwriting, calling it a waste of time. Whose journal was this? A collaborator, a gift? I hid it back in the drawer, my mind racing. That night, I woke to a creak in the hallway. The clock read 2 a.m. The attic door was slightly open, a damp draft carrying the smell of dust. I shook David awake. The attic door's open, grumbling. He checked, but it was shut tight, the latch secure. You're stressed, Laura, he said, exasperated. You're imagining things. Go back to bed. I lay awake, doubting myself. Was I losing it? David started staying late in his study, claiming manuscript deadlines. One night, I woke at 1 a.m. to an empty bed. His side was cold. I searched the house. His study was empty, the computer off. David, I called, my voice echoing. Passing the stairs, I heard a soft step. David descended, barefoot, holding a clean porcelain plate. He froze when he saw me, and the plate slipped, shattering on the floor. What were you doing upstairs? I asked, trembling. Working, he mumbled, avoiding my eyes. Needed quiet, grabbed a snack. The clean plate made no sense. I helped him clean up, but his touch felt distant, cold. The next morning, David was distant, leaving early for his study. By noon, he announced he was going away for a few days. Need inspiration, he said flatly, staring out the window. Don't have anyone over, especially not from the paper. His tone was sharp, almost a warning. 2 hours later, the doorbell rang. It was David's editor, Mr. Carter, and his assistant. Laura, we know David's here, Carter snapped. The manuscript's overdue. Tell him to stop hiding. I repeated David's story he'd left for a trip. Carter scoffed, pointing across the street. The neighbors say your attic light's on every night. If he's working, where's the manuscript? My heart sank. Attic light. We never used it. Alone, I dragged a ladder to the attic, my hands shaking as I opened the rusted hatch. The air was thick with the smell of old wood and paper. My phone's flashlight revealed boxes, dusty furniture, and a small cleared spacer table, a flickering lamp, and a woman. She was frail, with tangled grey hair and a tattered dress. She scribbled in a notebook, unaware of me. Who's there? I stammered. She turned, her pale face hollow but familiar. My knees buckled. It was Clara, my sister, missing for 25 years. Clara's eyes filled with tears. Laura, she whispered. Around her were manuscripts, empty food cans, a thin mattress. I helped her downstairs, her steps weak, her eyes squinting at the light. In the living room, I gave her water, her hands too shaky to hold it. She sobbed, collapsing into me. When she calmed, she told her story. 25 years ago, her boss, Henry, attacked her at his apartment. In self-defense, she struck him with a lamp. He fell dead. David, arriving to discuss work, found her. You'll go to prison, he told her, calm but firm. Let me protect you. For Laura's sake, he buried Henry's body in the woods and hid Clara in our attic, promising it was temporary. It became decades. David spread rumors that Clara and Henry eloped, using her disappearance to cover the crime. Her manuscripts, written to survive the isolation, became his novels. He stole her talent, her life. I wanted to confess, Clara said. But he said it would destroy you. I wept, rage and guilt consuming me. David had used my love to trap her. The olives, the water, the noises, all were Clara, surviving in secret. I can't stay hidden, Clara said. I need to face justice, I nodded, tears falling. We'll go together. At the police station, Clara recounted everything. The case reopened, and police found Henry's remains where she described. David was arrested upon returning, offering no resistance. Clara's lawyer argued self-defense, citing her years of captivity. But days later, she took her life in her cell, leaving a letter. Laura, she wrote, I'm free now. My story's in the attic, in a box under the table. Publish it as Clara Marie. I found her manuscript, a raw, beautiful account of her life. I edited it, tears staining the pages, and sent it to David's publisher. They called it a masterpiece. Published under Clara Marie. It became a global sensation, her voice finally heard. David's trial exposed his crimes: kidnapping, fraud, obstruction. He confessed, sentenced 2 years in prison. I didn't attend. The house felt empty, but I transformed the attic into a library for Clara's works. Her story taught me that truth, no matter how buried, will surface. Speak it, even if it hurts. Only then can the silence find peace. Names and places have been changed to protect those involved. I share this not to judge, but to ask, how many suffer in silence? If you were me, would you stay quiet or fight for the truth? Share your thoughts, every story can light the way. Check out more gripping tales on the end screen. Thank you for listening.